Hello, Boston. Welcome to another edition of the Boston DM Show.
Looks a little different now. I mean, with everything going on, we're finally back and we have so much to talk about. I'm Drea Cadigan.
And I'm Matt Ribaudo.
We're finally back here, Boston DM Show. We're talking about my last game with the New England Patriots, which seems like ages ago. January now. Our winter release, our spring release.
So much going on. Bob Ryan, we have Chris Wayland, NBC. We have our summer magazine release with the McCourty twins, Ken Casey. We have Rest in Peace, a Kobe Bryant tribute to go over.
Talking about what we've been doing during quarantine, now that we're slowly getting out of quarantine. And then also all the good things we're doing with BostonMan Magazine, our charities, partnerships, the ads, everything. A lot to talk about on this show, and you're not going to want to miss it.
American Cancer Society Breast Cancer, Special Olympics Massachusetts, and much, much more coming your way now. Boston DM.
Boston DM Show.
Boston DM Show.
Boston. Boston DM Show. Boston
DM
Show. It's stuck in your head yet?
Boston DM Show.
Welcome to the Boston DM Show. Welcome back to the Boston DM Show. Matt, it's been crazy. The last time we were in here was what?
Last decade?
Last decade?
Literally?
What, September?
No, not that. We've done shows since then. End of November.
End of November.
We did an end of November
You know what,
show.
time all blends together, especially with COVID, everything.
year.
I don't even know what day it is today. It's insane. But how have you been?
Good. Well, it's good to be back in the studio with you.
Good to be
not
back.
Not that we haven't seen each other or
I
talked
know.
since then, but
Yeah.
it's no, I like this. And you know what I like that we do? I like that we're here in the studio.
Yes.
I mean, we've talked about possibly doing these, I don't want to
FaceTime.
or and you know what? God bless the people that do that, but that's not us. This split screen,
Yep.
We've what we do is completely organic.
Yep.
We get in here, we feel off of each other's energy, we feel off of each other's vibe, and this is the only way to do it. And I wish, I wish it hasn't been 7 months
It's crazy.
since we've done a show.
I'm sure everyone watching can all relate that the past few months have just gone by so fast and so slow at the same time.
Well, that's the thing is and everyone that I've talked to about people that have come to both of us and when are you doing another show? When are you doing another show?
Yeah.
I think that even though it's been a little bit, they've given us a pass.
Yes.
It hasn't been this, oh my God, we're not going to watch you guys again. You guys are dropping the ball, I think we dropped the ball a little bit, but we're back
That's
now.
okay. It doesn't
we're
matter.
here,
It doesn't
and
matter.
it's let's try to make some sense of 2020 and everything that's gone on since. But
Yeah, we can try, right?
a lot has happened this year. Before we get into some of the stuff, the craziness before the world went mad, you wrapped up your career your active career with the New England Patriots.
Yes, well, it's crazy that we're even going back that far, but last game was in January. It was our playoff game. Crazy, such a feels so long ago, and it feels like it never happened. It was a dream. It was a sad loss, and then after that, hearing about Brady, it's so surreal. I'm so grateful that I had that last game with him, and it's funny, I tell everybody now that Brady left because he heard I wasn't coming back. And no one can prove me wrong. He was like, "Oh, Andrea's not coming back. Okay, yeah, no, then I'm going to Tampa." But it was a crazy game. Again, wish it had a better outcome. And I feel like right after that, I went to the Super Bowl in February in Miami. Obviously, we were not in the Super Bowl.
That had to feel a little weird.
It was weird, but it was
nice
in
a way,
fun.
but it was. Definitely looked like y'all were having a good time.
It was. You know what? The one year that it's in Miami with nice weather, of course, we weren't in it. So it was nice to go and enjoy it and kind of see behind the scenes when you're not actually, participating and you're at all these events. And it was really fun. It was a good game. I will say, did you see the Brady commercial for the Super Bowl?
I'm not going anywhere.
That was such a tease. He's in Gillette Stadium. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. I remember I actually was so excited. I was calling everyone I knew it. And everyone was like, he didn't say he's staying with the Pats. And I was like, well, why would he do that commercial then? And then I was
We love to
deceived.
I think it's our human nature just to kind of cling to any
Totally.
piece of hope or any possibility that it's. But
and I was wrong. But it was a fun Super Bowl. And then, like I said, after that, it's kind of like everything.
Well, an interesting thing going into your last game, I remember. I remember. It's like it's so long ago, which is, but it's.
I remember.
But everyone was posting tributes to you on their social media pages and social media stories, and I was just like, and at first I was like, oh man, I was like, well, I better do one too. Like it's like, is this? If this is possibly the end. But it was almost like...
It was crazy.
It's like, I don't want to think that we went in there thinking that it was going to be the end, but I think we were all going in with the realization that, okay, this could be it.
It was sad. It was a sad day.
It unfortunately was, yeah.
It was a very sad day, but like I said, I was so grateful. I just enjoyed it all day. Like I took everything in with all my teammates, the field, everything, took it all in, and then obviously that ending wasn't what we had wanted, but like you said, I think you go into it thinking anything can happen, and here we are hoping that if there is a season, to see how that plays out. Brady and Gronk now.
Yeah. Well,
in Tampa.
And another eerie, ironic thing about that is, we covered this on one of our last shows.
Yeah.
But I went to the Stadium Blitz with the Gronkowskis in Tampa. So we have this video where I'm on the field.
So weird.
Shooting the crap with Gronk, and we're like, it's actually the video, and we'll play it on the show. It's like he's actually.
And you're in. What's the stadium?
Raymond J. Whatever it is.
Yes. So bizarre.
It's but he's giving me a hard time because I had Edelman and Camille on previous covers. We had Edelman and Camille on previous covers. He's like, when are you going to put me on the cover? When are you going to put me on the cover? Who's more Boston than me? And so he's literally saying this to me
in Tampa.
So
bizarre.
Obviously before he announced that he was going, before any of this news happened, and he's flexing his arm and he's saying, "What is my arm too big for your magazine?" He's like, "You got to put little people like Edelman and Camille on it." Like he's just hamming it up big time, and but there was obviously at that point there's no indication that
why would anyone think anything? Yeah.
But from the Patriots, we didn't have too much time to mourn because we quickly transitioned over to our winter magazine release. End of January, over at City Winery in Boston, and really nice event. So the interesting thing about that is going into that event, everybody kept texting me saying, "Matt, I'm not feeling well. I can't make it.
So weird."
And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, am I in the twilight zone right now? Why is our...
I remember that too. It was a cold night, and last minute you called me.
I called you.
I'm
like, Andrea, I'm like, everybody's canceling on us. Our photographers, our video team, our our advisory board, Jimmy Espo, like our DJ. He literally is like, "Matt, I've never been this sick in my life. I do not know what's going on." And he's like, "I don't bail on anything. I just can't make it tonight."
Crazy.
So it's connecting the dots now. Like we
looking
think we
back.
might
I
know
mean, good thing that they didn't
on.
come, but hey, so long ago.
Great, but you know what? The show must go on. We had an amazing event. Bob Ryan was our guest of honor. Bob Ryan and Cedric Maxwell as well. And having those guys there, I mean, typically I don't like to try to speak too long at the events because certain people, I can't keep their attention span for too long.
I can't help it. People are talking to me.
But when Bob Ryan spoke and he was telling those Larry Bird stories, you could hear a pin drop in there. That was absolutely amazing.
A great event. City Winery was an awesome host. It was just a lot of fun.
That was we pulled it off. A lot of people. You know what's fun about our events too is every event, someone else, different people will say, "You know what, that was your best event so far for XYZ reason."
I feel like every event that we've had, either I say that or someone else says that.
Which is nice because now it's it just shows that we can cater to such a wide range of individuals and a wide range of people, and people are finding different values out of each event. But that was incredible. And so then it was into February, which you went down to the Super Bowl, and we talked about that a little bit. And then we just come back and we're turning it around. And the interesting thing too is when you release a magazine, you kind of catch your breath, but you got to start
There's a quick
planning for the next
turnaround.
magazine
It's so
right
true.
away.
So true.
So I remember I was telling you a little bit about I was like, Andrea, I was like, I know you're just starting to get into the Celtics a little bit more.
A little bit. Anything I know
like,
was from you or my brother, but
and I was
not
just
much.
like, well, I was like, have you caught up with this Tacko-Mania at all? Like the Tacko Fall, the 7'7" player we have on the Celtics and all.
Had no idea what he was talking about. Just because I don't follow basketball, I didn't know.
So
No idea.
So I was like, all right, there's only one way to show you.
Yeah.
So what do we do?
We went to a game, and
And-
wow, that's real. The taco.
Talk about the taco experience.
Is it called Tacko-Mania? Is that what-
Tacko-Mania, yeah.
It's crazy. You just don't realize until you're actually there. And all the little kids with their taco jerseys on.
People in
and
the crowd dressed up as a
dressed
taco.
up. It's insane. And watching the game too, you're just I started to feel it. It's like that crowd.
The buzz.
What's it called? The crowd mentality, where I'm like rooting for him to come out, and you just want him out there.
And then when he comes out at the end of the game,
Crazy. I'm yelling for this person that I just found out about. I'm like, yeah, Tacko. I felt like his mother or something. Like, it was insane. It was so crazy. But I was glad I got to see it, because I wouldn't have. You could hear it, but I'd just be like, oh, okay, what player doesn't get, big applause? But this is like a totally different situation.
it's a totally different experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was great. So for our, for the spring magazine, we did a co-cover, which we tend to do. We don't always do a solo cover. We'll do co-covers at times. And Tacko, of course, from Senegal, and Enes Kanter, also a center on the Celtics from Turkey. They're just both model Bostonians now. They've come over, and we did a story about the globalization of Boston, featuring those two. And that was a lot of fun. We did a fun video with Enes. We played it at our February event at Scorpion Bar, another great event. That was something cool too. Like it's like once we can actually start having events again. I love the anticipation and buzz from a cover reveal. Like when everyone's like,
it's
all right,
exciting. Everyone wants to know.
Who's it going to be?
Yep.
And playing it on the big screen like that was cool too, because everyone was just like
waiting for it.
And it's just funny too. It's just like I love all your friends, how they're, no matter how many times you've been on television or you've been on shows, like it was like you guys were like a bunch of little schoolgirls when they saw you on TV there. They're like, oh yeah.
That's what friends are for, right?
Like
you want those friends in your life.
But that was a lot of fun. That was a great, which turned out to be our last
again, like
live
we said,
event.
Best event that I think so far, but I say that every time. That was a good event.
So that's where you have the Scorpion Bar in February as the
Scorpion Bar, top event so far. And that was crazy because it was right before everything.
Literally right before everything happened.
So I think it was just such a great way to kind of go into it. You had that like behind, like in the back of your mind, and it was a lot of fun. So.
And we announced, that co-cover reveal went awesome.
Yep.
And then a week later, we have our shoot with Chris Wayland, who was also on the main cover there at NBC. And that was. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you felt going in there. It was just weird when we're in there, and like
weird.
It's just like, wait a second, like nobody's around, and they're all in an emergency meeting.
Yep. Just trying, because it was right before really everything, it got serious. You had heard about COVID and what was going on, and everyone still didn't really know. And then as soon as there was like a period of time, right? It felt like it kind of like went really quick. And we were kind of at that period where, you still didn't know what to do, but it was starting to get like, okay, things were closing. So when we went in for the shoot, we were all being careful, of course. And first of all, walking into that NBC studio, what did you think? Like that was
gorgeous.
Gorgeous. It's new.
I had heard that how breathtaking it was, but I was just like, when you hear stuff like that, you're like, okay, is it really breathtaking?
Yeah.
It is. Like it fits
clean,
the buzz.
The cameras,
very modern.
Everything, the studio numbers, the dressing room.
The dressing room. Oh my God, it felt like a rock star going in there.
I loved it. With the lights and everyone had their own station. It was just so cool, and the shoot went so well. Chris Wayland was awesome.
He was awesome. Obviously, Eric
such a pleasure
Snyder
to work
and
with.
Shauna Legatos, our team. And
it went by so quick, per usual. The shoot, like once you get it, Eric knows once he gets the shot. But then we kind of keep going with it just for fun, and it was a fun day, and we had a great shoot, great cover. What did you think?
I love it when we get with Eric. So, when Eric's doing a shoot, we're all kind of doing some behind the scenes like with our iPhones. I love it when we get a video of him getting the shot.
Oh, it's
like just when he's
so giddy.
His foot starts stomping a little bit. He starts jumping around.
Yeah.
you know, I have no shame in being his hype man. Come on,
Yep.
Eric, let's go, Eric.
Yeah.
Get in the zone. Let's
Yeah.
go, Eric. And
Yeah.
it's just like he says.
Well, he knew it too. He just gets so giddy. Like he just got the shot, and it's like, whoo! But it makes you excited. You're like, oh, yay! Like I'm excited to see it. And that cover was great too. I loved it with the NBC in the background. It was awesome. It was awesome. So
that pulled together. So that pulled together our spring, our complete spring cover with Chris Wayland and Enes and Tacko. And
yeah,
it's other than the game I went to with you. It's I mean, once upon a time I used to go to almost all the Celtics games, and actually, I had the honor to be at the tribute game for Kobe Bryant,
Yep.
who tragically passed this year, as
So
we
sad.
know. And I mean, Kobe. I remember, like I put something out. It's just, I mean, Kobe Bryant's been a huge part of my life. I only ever met him once, but I actually, Kobe and I were the same age within a week of each other. We both graduated high school in 1996, and he was, we were featured in the same Street and Smith's high school preview magazine our senior year, where featuring meaning he was on the cover, and then it's like this 400-page magazine where they list like potentially good players from every state. So I think I had like a small line.
Hey, you know what?
there.
That's something.
But even at the
something.
time, knowing how special a player Kobe was going to be, I remember being a senior in high school and being like, I'm featured in the same magazine as Kobe Bryant.
So
and
cool.
it's you know, just like obviously like Kobe, what he meant and did for the you know, the NBA, and just you know, what he was continuing to do as a person, and you know, building a legacy, and what he was going to be. He was destined to be as powerful of a businessman and powerful as a leader as he was as an NBA player. And it's you know, he's forever tied to the Celtics. I remember I wrote a piece that I didn't publish. I just kind of put my thoughts in, and I might publish it at some point. But I titled it "We're All Lakers Today."
Yeah.
And that was about, you know, my experiences watching Kobe.
Yeah.
Honestly, Kobe was one of these players where you felt like, as a diehard fan, you felt like you were in there competing against him.
Yeah.
Or I won't say competing against him, competing with him.
Yeah.
And it's it was just like, it was one of those guys where, like, the power of Kobe Bryant and how driven he was. He after the Celtics beat the Lakers for the championship in 2008.
Yeah.
We played you know, always played Ken Casey's "Ship It Up to Boston" song, and which Ken Casey, we'll talk a little bit more about him later in the show.
That,
where, you know, we're featuring him in our summer magazine. But Kobe, for the entire summer after the Celtics beat the Lakers for the championship in 2008. Every day he worked out, he played "Ship It Up to Boston" on repeat, because it drove
to get him motivated,
it drove him
right?
so crazy that it brought him to another level of competition.
Yeah.
And then in 2010, the Lakers beat us for the NBA championship.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it was just
crazy.
These are memories. These are moments that I was at all those games, the ones in Boston, not the ones in LA.
Yeah.
Would love to have been at the ones in LA as well. But it was just, you know, like the what Kobe Bryant, you know, what Kobe Bryant meant. He's also a Celtic. Like I said, like that article I wrote, I said we're all Lakers today. Kobe will forever be a Celtic in a way as well. And I think you could say that about him with every NBA team.
Yeah.
But that was it was a beautiful tribute that we did at the Garden that night. We had an organic shrine where people just came and started leaving Kobe stuff. I left a copy of he wasn't like, I wish I would have had an article that was printed for BostonMan Magazine, but I left.
Who would have known that would have happened?
I left a copy of the Danny Ainge, Bob Ryan issue there at the shrine.
Yep.
And, yeah, I just kind of wrote on it like, Kobe, you know, thank you for everything.
Yeah.
I didn't know what else to write.
Yeah.
But it was it was definitely a huge blow.
Yeah.
Like it affected me, and it affected, you know, millions all over the world.
Definitely.
And at the time, I said, Kobe, you made the world stop. Little did we know what the world stopping actually would mean.
Yep.
Just a month later. But I was at that game, and then the final game of the year before everything closed down, I had gone to see Enes Kanter, who we had. So Enes Kanter was actually one of the keynote speakers at the MIT SLOAN conference. So it was a Friday evening. I went to that game, and then I met up with Enes the following Saturday, or not the following Saturday, the next day at MIT to hear him speak. Tremendous. He's an activist, and like everything, his story, everything that's been going on in Turkey with his family. He delivered a very powerful message, and I just, little did I know, like at the time I was just like, okay, I just went to the final basketball game of the season, which now the NBA is restarting, but like which fans could attend, and then after that it was just like I was like, whoa, okay, and now everything's shutting down, and then all the news came out that the coronavirus was started with a player on the Utah Jazz, which is crazy to say it started, but like the first known case in the NBA was a player on the Jazz, Rudy Gobert, who Enes had played against the night before, like because they were both centers, so they were like bumping up against each other and everything. And then I was with Enes the next day, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, at the time, like people were dressed up in like ET costumes, like if thinking that COVID was this killer disease where if you like even mentioned its name, you were gonna something terrible was gonna happen to you. So I remember thinking, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? But it's it's just really weird. But that was like, so that's and then that was the last game I went to, and
crazy. And then everything hit and the world really stopped. Yeah, that was what, back in February?
That was end of February, early March.
Yeah.
And then that was just, I still can't totally wrap my head about.
Like I said, the past few months there was so much that went on, and it went by quick, but so slow too. Like when you look back at it, you think to yourself, February, wow, like that was so long ago. But then also thinking about, even our NBC shoot, I'm like, oh, that wasn't that long ago. It just feels like it because everything stopped.
But part of it, it's just like we're just now starting to live our lives again. So it's whether, not here to debate whether people should be living their lives or they shouldn't be, or it's just like, I mean, you and I have made the decision that we're gonna still be conscious of things, and,
of course,
and
be respectful,
like, be respectful of what's going on, and not take unnecessary risks. But we're also going to, mentally we need to get out and be around people that we care about.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of COVID, during that time, what were you doing those few months? That everything was shut down.
Quarantine. That's a great question. So it's so I'm a big reader.
Yeah.
Obviously, like we have the program with BostonMan Magazine, like the bookshelf, where we feature local authors, and our Leaders Are Readers program, where I'm a nerd and I tie in that like every successful person is well read, and whether it's true or not, I believe it.
Yeah.
So I turn to my books, like oftentimes when I'm in any type of isolation, whether it's a quarantine or it's the only time I've ever been in quarantine, but even when I just need to check out
during the quarantine.
And I'm originally from Baltimore, so I've read a book called The Boys of Dunbar. It's a book about the greatest high school basketball team of all time, which was the Dunbar High School team, and they had 5 future
And where
NBA,
was that?
In Baltimore.
In Baltimore, okay.
Dunbar High School.
Okay.
So it's a high school team, and this is before the days of AAU. This is before the day where teams from New York City would play teams from Miami versus teams from LA or anything like that. Basketball is very regionalized, so there was it was a mythical national champion crowned every year, but it was always like in the running were always these schools from Baltimore, like the area where I grew up, whether it was Lakeside High School, Dunbar High School, DeMatha High School, and actually, the irony, a documentary recently came out on Showtime called "It's in the Water," and it's about basketball in that area. Like Kevin Durant's from that area. The what would have been the greatest basketball player of all time, Len Bias, comes from that area as well, and just so many players.
Interesting.
And it really is something in the water. Like it's amazing the talent that has come and it still remains in that area.
Yep.
But I read a book called The Boys of Dunbar, and it features among other players in there. It features Reggie Lewis, who went on to play for the Celtics.
Oh.
And it kind of motivated me. I have a picture of Reggie Lewis and I when we were kids. Reggie's older than me, but he was he had just started his NBA career, and I was young. I was like 10 years old or something, but wearing my Baltimore Orioles cap, and he's wearing this like little purple and white, or blue and white, like little like shorts and button-up shirt, and so I'm actually writing the publisher's column about I'm going to title it "Two Kids from Baltimore That Ended Up in Boston," and I'm going to talk about the Reggie Lewis story. And your father actually knows a lot. So Reggie Lewis tragically passed away in July. Yeah. From heart failure, and it's very. Nobody knows exactly what happened. I spent some time talking to your father about this last year, and he knows a lot about the situation. He actually knows some of the doctors that had treated Reggie. And I'm not going to get into that too much in the in the article, but I'm going to talk about just like how, you know, the parallel journeys of how, you know, Reggie Lewis ended up in Boston and how I ended up in Boston. So that's coming in the summer magazine.
To think about.
A little, but yeah, so I read that book, and I also have spent some time. I've talked a little bit about this, but one of the big inspirations for BostonMan Magazine was John F. Kennedy Jr.'s magazine, George Magazine, which was around from 1995 to 2000. And it's his theme was, it was a lifestyle magazine based around politics, and it was called Politics Not As Usual. And so I really it always resonated with me. I collected all the issues back when I was, back when it was out, and I think my father threw them all away.
No,
by the way,
I was going to say I'd like to see those.
So each issue now is a collector's item, and they all go from anywhere from like $350 to up to $15,000 to buy a copy on eBay.
So you must have wanted to kill your dad.
He's thrown away so much. I mean,
who doesn't? No one knows at
add it to the
that
list.
time.
Like it's just it's like he goes through these. I don't even know what he's thinking when he does the stuff. Like
why would you think it would be worth something someday? You know?
Correct, and he just but he would. I don't know. I don't want to get into it.
Back to the magazine.
But yeah. So I've kind of taken this time to look at ways where we can make BostonMan Magazine better, and I want to go back, and I really appreciate it, and it really stuck with me, a lot of the stuff that JFK Jr. was doing. So I've been kind of rereading, looking at a lot of his themes, looking at what worked, what didn't work. I've listened to 2 audiobooks in that time on JFK Jr. And it's of course he tragically passed away also in July 16th, 1999.
Crazy.
When his flight went down in Hyannis, but another just tragic story, but not dwelling on his death, but looking at the stuff that he did during his life,
and how it can help and impact Boston Man even.
Big thing that's I'm kind of going on with this a little bit, but it's got me thinking
on your
of this
mind.
stuff. But
let it out.
But JFK Jr., he was very big into community, and there was an article that he did. He sat down with Bill Gates in February 1997, where they. It's a very good article, very good interview, and it was around the time of the beginning of the internet. And Gates was, presenting the case to Kennedy of how, social isolation isn't a bad thing, and people can get more things done on their own, and we won't have to work in offices one day, and all this information at your fingertips. And he, the article the interview goes in some interesting places where, he at one point, Gates is talking about world domination. He's talking about how he funds population control. It's,
something to look into.
It's definitely something there's some but Kennedy's brilliant in it. He doesn't just go along and agree with Gates and he combats him. He's and something that he said that really, really resonated with me is we have a civic responsibility as leaders, as people, to not destroy community, to continue to get together, to continue, because the effects of what can happen is if you destroy community, it can be far greater than any benefits that you think can come from social isolation. They weren't using the word quarantine because there wasn't but they kept using social isolation as an example.
Wow.
But all right.
Probably didn't realize thinking then where we'd be now, right?
I just went on for a while. Tell me about your quarantine.
Quarantine. Wow. You know what? Like I said, I have to look back because I think we're in the summer now, summer months, and to think back into March, April. What do you do, And I feel like the same thing. I've done a lot of reading. I feel like for me, I need to be up and active. It's so hard for me, and it wasn't, luckily our winter wasn't that bad. We got lucky with that one, New England, but I need to be up and active, so trying to get outside, running, all those
that was
online.
Good. I remember you were running a lot. You were doing, oh my God, your online courses, you and your friends. You guys were killing it.
Trying to do all these online, whatever you can do. It was so tough during those months. Did you do any online?
No.
No. Stayed at home and.
It was. I'm ashamed of what I've let myself.
It was hard though. It was when there's nothing to do and nowhere to go. You got to find something that just doesn't drive you crazy, right?
And don't get me wrong. At first I was kind of ashamed to admit this, but it's. I struggled with quarantine. It was
for everyone. I don't think you're the only one.
We mentally it didn't, I went to places where I was just kind of oh my God, I'm going crazy, I'm going out of my mind. Thank God I had the magazine to work on and something to stay focused on. It was hard, and I was very strict with it up until Mother's Day, where my parents basically said like, you know, we didn't see each other on Easter, which we like Easter and family are very important to us, and we're
of course.
You know, we're Catholic, and it just like, but finally on Mother's Day, like I saw my parents, and they came up to visit. And
once you can see people again, it was crazy. Like seeing someone for the first time. I think I said this to you when I saw you. I was like, oh, people, they're there. You know, it's not just. I forget what it's like. It was a weird time, and I think a lot of people struggled with it. So it was kind of like now opening up. You just don't take anything for granted. Yeah, no,
right? That's one thing that I've really realized and come to is like, I love people. Not that I didn't think that I did. I mean, if I wasn't all in on what we're doing and what we're building before, I am more in on it now.
It created a positive impact.
Than ever. The positive impact, the building of community, the contributions that we make to charities and nonprofits, and to like, that is just like, I really think that this quarantine has made me reevaluate and rediscover what my life mission is.
Which is a good thing, right? Didn't we all kind of need that? So
it absolutely is.
And even during quarantine, now let's even talk about the spring release.
Yeah, the spring release. Yeah. So that was interesting when we, you know, our little virtual live event.
But that was, I think, needed in the time too.
I think that brought some relief to some people. It was good to see some familiar faces, see some people.
So we did a Facebook Live for the spring release, and it was a lot of fun.
I thought 11,000 people turned in.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect from that. I was thinking maybe a couple thousand.
We'd at least have our parents on, right? Or the legacy members. But it was great. And a lot of people really liked it. They were engaging, you know, asking questions. We were at 617.
Yeah, Jimmy Espo, who graciously hosted us, one of our advisory board members. Jules moderated the whole thing, kept people engaged in the chat, which was amazing. You know, Rhett Price, who we featured in the hip hop violinist, like he sent in an amazing performance, which everyone enjoyed. And you know, and of course we did the so one of our sponsors, KEEL Vodka. They were releasing their summer seltzer, which they had this big thing planned for Memorial Day weekend. They couldn't do it. So I say they got stuck with us, which they didn't, because you did an amazing job. All I did was kind of like hand it over. But it's but yeah, no, that was but go ahead and you know, obviously like you had your family suffered a loss during this time. And
it was crazy.
And KEEL, and you know, we kind of wrapped in a little tribute with KEEL.
We did the Lift Your Spirits toast, and I was pleasantly surprised, and just so. My whole family too.
Was it your grandfather?
It was my grandfather who passed. And for people who don't know, he was the physician for the Patriots back in the 70s. And Matt Light had sent in a video for the Lift Your Spirits toast for my grandfather.
He's one of the owners of KEEL.
Yes, one of the owners of KEEL, and you know, he was a Patriot as well. So
during the same team that your sister
cheered for, so my sister cheered for the Patriots as well, and she cheered during his, you know, time with the Patriots. So it all kind of tied back, and at such a hard time, it like I always say, little things go a long way, and it really did. It was so nice, and sent in a nice video, and you know, we kind of took that moment to cheers my grandfather, and it was so nice. I mean, I had so much fun. That whole event was just a great day, and those seltzers, very good. 10 out of 10 recommend. After that night, I go everywhere asking every liquor store if I can find KEEL. I'm not just saying this too. Like, you had them, so good, so good.
But let's play the Matt Light Lift Your Spirits where he mentions your grandfather.
Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Matt Light, and you know, we're supposed to be doing the Boston Man event in person where we could hang out, tell a few stories, have a little fun and some laughs. We were just featured in the magazine. It's got an awesome article. I really appreciate all the support that we've had. And in the article, it talks about our Lift Your Spirits challenge. liftyourspirits.org. It's an incredible challenge where we want people to raise a glass and lift the spirits of the people who have really been impacted in the restaurant industry. So we thank them. We thank all the people in the restaurant industry that make KEEL such a great brand for telling people about our product and all the work we do, but now it's our turn to help them. And you know, look, my playing days are over. I had a lot of fun on the field. Got in a little bit of trouble from Bill for shocking him and things of that nature. We'll talk about that at some party in the future. But I'm just very grateful and thankful for all the support that I had in New England during my playing days. And through the Light Foundation, the work that we continue to do now, impacting the lives of young people through our outdoor camps and the Light Foundation's Leadership Academy has been honestly the biggest joy of my life. So I know, Andrea, that your grandfather was a great doctor for the Patriots. I know he did a lot. He loved, what the team represented and everything about him. So I want to lift a glass now, Andrea, to your grandfather for an incredible life well lived. To him, in honor of him, here's to you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, so the virtual event was fun, but it was something like that had to be a one-time thing. Like we just can't continue to do virtual
It was
events.
nice in the moment, and I think that, all the legacy members, anyone following Boston Man really appreciated it. It kind of brought them, in and around. I loved seeing also people sending in pictures.
Yeah.
Watching with a drink, kind of with us, but not really with us. But like you said, it was definitely a one-time thing. And
it's tough too, because I remember during that live broadcast, I kept making promises or wishful thinking. I was like, all right, guys, we're going to do an event soon. And it's hard. Like, I'm trying as hard as I can to get this, get us back to having live events, but doing it the right way.
Yep.
And not, things are starting to slowly open up a little bit.
And that's what we've been waiting for. Yeah.
But yeah, so that brings us into, past Memorial Day weekend. I feel like Memorial Day was kind of like the measuring stick too for people. I think mentally a lot of people said, okay, we're going to give the world until Memorial Day to figure this out.
Yep.
And then we're going to start to slowly take our lives back into our own hands.
People were starting to go crazy, stir crazy.
And that was kind of like the tipping point too, where after Memorial Day, I noticed that you started getting some of your work started outside again and stuff. And
definitely,
you had a shoot on the Vineyard.
Yes, so that was kind of the first shoot to be in person again, because they have to follow protocol, of course, and make sure everything's safe. Before that, it was all these virtual shoots, through your iPhone, Skype, computer, whatever, which was a lot of fun. It's going to be cool, in the future to look back and be like, oh, that was shot through a computer or whatever. But yeah, then once things started opening up, I had that shoot on the Vineyard with DreamRose Lifestyle Magazine. Which was fun. It was, like I said, once things opened up, the Vineyard wasn't extremely busy or anything. We took a car on, and it was a beautiful day. Like I said, it was just nice to be out, on the Vineyard, kind of see things and go around. We shot at a few different locations, and it was just nice to be out. And it was a great shoot, great to get back, in person, in front of a camera. And it went really well. We were on the Vineyard all day.
The pictures came out amazing.
It was awesome. And by the end, I saw a few old friends, because I also shoot this week on Martha's Vineyard, of course on Martha's Vineyard, and talked about what we're going to be doing for that show, mostly in studio until things are safe to be out and about. But it was just nice to get out. And
that looked very refreshing.
And you actually went to the Vineyard too, right?
I did. I went
not long after.
I went with our good friend Brittany Baldessari.
Yep.
I think I was there. Was I there before or after your shoot? I don't remember.
I
was like,
before,
it might have been literally
it might
it was
have been
the same week.
Yeah.
Because I went on one of the week. You went midweek, and I was out there on the weekend.
And you know what I think it was? I think I asked you how it was on the Vineyard to make sure. I was like, how is it? Is it busy? What's going on? And you kind of prepped that for me going into it. But it was crazy. Within that week, we kind of were both there. And like I said, it was just nice to be out on a beach, right?
So with Brittany, I got to meet her boyfriend. I'm one of the few that have met him, Ryan Dahl, who's a pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. And let me tell you something, everyone has asked me, it's how do those two get along? Phenomenal. Yeah. They are a yin and a yang.
She
they
seems so
balance
happy
each other.
too.
He is a great guy.
Yeah.
I can 100% say this. He is a great guy. He's an amazing guy. He laughed at all my corny jokes, which it takes a style, just like that.
But I love that. Good guy. Good guy.
And we all had a blast together.
And is he in Florida now?
No, he is in. So MLB is actually, the teams they're not in a bubble.
Okay.
They're playing in the ballparks.
Oh, nice.
So the Red Sox are playing at Fenway Park.
Wow.
The Orioles are playing at Camden Yards. The Yankees are playing.
I wasn't sure if they were all doing it in Florida or something, but that's good
to know.
It was
one of the things that that was discussed, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with MLB.
Yeah.
It's like how that because unlike the NBA, which they are all in Florida in a bubble. Well, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, very happy for Brittany.
Yeah.
Very happy for Ryan, and I hope.
Excited to meet him.
Yeah, I hope to like hang out with them again soon whenever
Definitely.
the madness ends.
Absolutely. And even speaking now, let's talk about the label.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
a new.
So this is a new
partnership.
partnership for BostonMan Magazine, brought to us by Zoe.
Yep.
One of your best friends.
Zoe
and
Bucuvalas.
It's God bless her. And I was actually her mother's idea.
Stop, Mary.
So yeah,
Love you, Mary.
Mary told Zoe, she's like, she was doing all these shoots of the label, and she's kind of like the head model or spokesperson for
face
of the label. And and Mary said, she's like Zoe, why isn't the label in BostonMan Magazine? She's like,
a Boston company
question.
with a Boston magazine just makes sense.
She's like, it should be. So Zoe connected me with Joe, the owner of the label, and him and I basically became BFFs overnight.
Yeah.
We text each other nonstop
Yeah.
and have meetings, and we're both very type A personalities. So one of our meetings is just zooming all over the place, but we've got a lot of big ideas that we're going to do. And the label, they're actually featured on the inside cover of the summer issue of BostonMan Magazine.
So you'll be seeing that soon.
So look from that there.
Great photo of Zoe in there.
Great photo of Zoe, yeah.
If you haven't seen her billboard, it's the same picture.
It's I think it's the same one. I thought I had an exclusive, but then I look and there she is.
All
there
over
she
Boston.
is on a billboard all over Boston. But no, we're definitely looking forward to all the types of partnerships and things that we're going to be doing with the label. And
hopefully at some of the new pop-up events that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, so we
actually
did it's a kind of a good transition into there. I was recently down in, so we did our summer cover reveal. That was our first pop-up event. So when we say pop-up event, just kind of give a little bit of texture behind this.
Yeah.
It's right now, obviously we can't have events the way we want to. I'm trying as hard as I can, but it's
too hard.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we've had 2 little pop-up events where I just tell people, you know what, come to this location, make a reservation at this restaurant, and we'll be together in some way. We'll be at our tables. We can still have our red carpet out. We can still take pictures.
Yeah.
So we actually did this at Robbie's Dolce Fumo in the North End, owned by one of our members, Christian Silvestri and Kim Fontaine, and it was a nice success.
Yeah.
About 25 people came, but it was a little bit more of an intimate setting.
Yeah.
We revealed our summer cover, which is the McCourty twins.
And you know what I find
Devin
funny
and Jason
too?
McCourty.
I think at our last show, we had talked about the North End and how you were talking about how it's, or I don't know if it was at our last show or if it was at the virtual event, but we kind of talked about how the North End is kind of saving
It kind of brought the city back to life. Yeah.
And with everyone outside, it was nice.
So it was a nice tie-in. It was
Yeah.
a nice tie-in doing that,
Yep.
and honestly, we'll probably, if I can't pull it together for an event the way we want to do it for August, which I'm
hoping, but
having
we'll see.
some challenges right now with that. Yeah, we might just do another pop-up event.
Yeah.
And and whoever comes. It's like everyone's kind of on their own to make their own reservations to get there, and it's still nice.
Yeah.
It's still nice. It's still a sense of community. It's still fulfilling that civic responsibility a little bit. So we had that one at Robbie's Dolce Fumo, but then I also had one. I was in Atlantic City, and we have a. I love Atlantic City, so I'm there a lot.
Yeah.
My buddy and I have a timeshare down there, and there's just there's a nice tie-in between Boston and Atlantic City. There's stuff that every time I'm down there, everyone within our Legacy Club, or not everyone, but people within our Legacy Club ask me, set something up. When can we get down there? So I'm in the process of working out some pretty good deals at the different casinos, different hotels, where we can, have a significant price break and deals to be able to get to Atlantic City. We have Mike Lopez, AC Mike down there. He's kind of like the unofficial mayor of Atlantic City.
Yeah.
He's going to be writing a piece for at least the online magazine where he talks about the history and things in Atlantic City. And like I said, I'm working out deals where we can get down there at a very effective
Reasonable
cost, reasonable price.
Yeah.
And just have some fun. But
fun to tie the two together, right? Kind of just go different places and introduce it to different people. It's fun. That's fun.
So I was down in Atlantic City promoting both obviously BostonMan Magazine. We had a pop-up event at Wonder Bar in Atlantic City, which is owned by Brian Miranda.
We'll show some of those pictures too, because that looked like a lot of fun. That looks like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was, and then the label is going to be starting new campaigns in both Philadelphia and Atlantic City. So it's promoting the label, promoting BostonMan, having
getting
a little bit
there.
getting the name out there, and of course we'd have our relationship with Jersey Man Magazine, which does a lot of stuff in Atlantic City as well. So it's a natural marriage for sure.
Yeah. And with that being said, we can kind of talk about now with the label going into the pop-ups, the summer issue. Because we've kind of just been busy right now getting that together.
Yeah, very busy, and it's been such a challenge, Andrea, getting these magazines together right now, because
getting the content.
I have to be mindful of what everyone's going through, of where everyone's. So I can't harp and push to get pieces quite the way I used to, and it's just like there's been so many moving deadlines, moving targets. Even right now, going at the time of this filming, we're still pulling together the final pieces of the summer magazine. But yeah, no, I'm so proud of this magazine. I've been telling people it's our biggest, most important, and most impactful issue to date. And when we talk about Devin and Jason McCourty, those two gentlemen represent everything that is good and right about America. About the world, for that matter.
And I can also say, even with the Patriots, it was always a name. You always had Tom Brady, you had those big names. But if you were, from New England, if you're a Patriots fan, they were just such good guys. They were kind of like the heart of the team. They were just great guys, both of them. Leaders is what I'll say.
And that's the name of our feature article here, Patriot Leadership. So for this we partnered with Nine Tailors, which is a clothing company here, and a luxury clothing company here in Boston, and the partnership is to help raise awareness and raise money for the Tackle Sickle Cell campaign, which is a nonprofit that is very close to the McCourtys. And sickle cell, for those that don't know, it's a disease that primarily attacks African Americans, and there's just not a whole lot of awareness about it outside of those affected by it in the African American community. So the McCourtys have been pioneers in really raising awareness and raising funds for this. So when you look at the cover, those suits, tuxedos, like in some of the images inside the magazine, that's all part of a campaign.
Definitely fitting to say they are on the cover of the summer
correct,
issue.
Yep, that's and that's
the
all.
McCourty twins.
That's all to raise money and raise awareness for the Tackle Sickle Cell campaign. So we're honored to be a part of that. I was privileged enough to actually sit in on the interview that our writer Thomas Hare did with the McCourtys, and 90-minute interview that could have gone for 5 hours, and I would have been absolutely, I don't want to use the word entertained, just absolutely inspired by everything that these
It wouldn't have been boring. You could have had it go for 5 hours, and you would have wanted to hear every minute of it.
And this story is the longest feature that we've ever had in BostonMan Magazine.
Wow.
So, and people are going to absorb and love every word of it. It's very, very inspiring, very impactful, and if all of us could just be a little bit more like the McCourtys, the world would be a much better place. I can say that for sure.
And like I always say about the events, I can say it with the covers too. I feel like every cover that comes out, I always say it's the best one yet. You know that, because every time you send it to me, I'm like, it's the best one, it's the best one. But this cover is the best one.
I think we're pretty good at having our covers fit the moment.
Yes.
I mean, that's something that we've been very blessed to be able to really have these covers that are not just that they're significant in the moment, but they're also significant in a timeless manner as well. Yeah. So that was the main cover, but we also had a co-cover here, and
we just shot that just a few weeks ago now. It wasn't even that long ago, and we were really excited to be working with Ken Casey with the Dropkick Murphys.
Talk about another guy who's just great guy, good guy, a leader in Boston, someone that really pushes the envelope to make the city a better place. True Bostonian,
easy to
true
work
and
with,
through.
just such a nice, like you said, just a nice guy. He was such a pleasure to work with, and meeting him, it was awesome. He was awesome, and we had such a fun shoot.
Fun shoot. We had the shoot at his restaurant, Yellow Door Taqueria in the South End.
Yeah.
Then he treats us to dinner after, which is it's not just treat us to dinner. Sat and had dinner with us.
Yes.
We talked stories, traded stories with each other. That's just it's one of those moments. We talk about memories and moments that you kind of like stay with you and make a difference. That's definitely one of them.
Absolutely. So we're excited about that. And
we finally got to bring Xavier to a shoot.
Finally brought him. Yep. Sat back, watched. Great, got our drinks. Was there.
Did he like it? Was he?
I loved it.
Okay, good.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So much
All right, so
fun.
we didn't drag him.
And like I said, that was a good shoot because Ken
Friday
Casey
night.
was
And it's a Friday night, so it's
definitely just one of those fun days where you could be out, had the shoot for the summer issue. It was very memorable.
It was, yeah.
Very exciting. So we're hoping, even if we can't do a summer event, whenever, that he would be there. And
I know, it's just this, if we could, this magazine comes out Tuesday, August 11th. If like I said, I'm doing everything I possibly can to have a safe and impactful summer event. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it together.
Up in the air, but
I'm losing sleep over it. Like when I tell you that I'm literally making calls, making arrangements, having meetings, doing everything I possibly can to try to pull this together, in a safe way, not a force, but it's.
And I think that's what's making it hard is because you're figuring out the best, safest way to do it, but it's difficult. So.
But yeah, if we could just pause time and have this fearful ridiculousness going on in the world just go away. This event will be this would be our best event.
Yep.
As we always say. But it's something else that I want to say. I love putting out the cover a month or so before when we don't necessarily have the whole full magazine together yet, because once we posted this summer cover with the McCourty twins on it, I had another set of twins in Boston, the Wonder Twins. Billy and Bobby McLean reached out, and we just started DMing each other, and then exchanged numbers and started texting and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
we'll talk a little bit about them.
Well, these guys, hip hop pioneers. When I tell you hip hop dance, you can't talk about hip hop dance and not mention the Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
Billy and Bobby McLean from Boston. These guys have coached, choreographed, opened for such likes as Run DMC, LL Cool J, KRS-One.
Wow.
They taught New Edition to dance. Taught Bobby Brown to dance, choreographed, taught New Kids on the Block to dance.
Wow.
Taught, choreographed, did all. It's now the true challenge is can they teach Matt
I was
Ribaudo
just
how to
gonna
dance?
say, can they come in
can
and
they teach
give a dance
BostonMan
lesson?
Magazine how to dance? That'll be a testament to
it's a challenge to them.
But I've especially with I text with Billy almost every day now, and I'm building a friendship with him and a relationship with him, and it's just awesome. Talk about but just impactful individuals. I can't wait to share their story in this copy of Matt. And then
so there's going to be more with them coming up as well.
Oh, absolutely.
With the magazine
and we'll have them at events. And one thing that the Wonder Twins say in the piece is that we have an obligation, if not to become better, to do better, to become better, to teach, to obviously keep moving towards equality.
Yeah.
If not for ourselves, for the generations behind us. They, like us, they love children.
Yeah.
They're educators. They love children. They love the positive impact that they can have as teachers. And it's just I'm honored to feature them. Honored to have met them. Honored that, and it's kind of the power of the goodness of the McCourtys as well. That by putting that cover out there has brought individuals like the Wonder Twins to us as well. So it's I'm very
and it's
I'm actually getting goosebumps talking
through
about
everything
this,
too. What comes out of for this magazine, through everything the past months, I feel like there's so much good that came out through all of that.
Absolutely.
So it's an exciting magazine to be released.
And then and that's not all. I found the infomercial world, but wait, there's more.
But wait.
Also in this issue is a feature story on the Boston Renegades, which is the winningest women's professional football team of all time.
Wow.
So they're
Go Boston.
So they're one behind Brady. They have 5 rings. My good friend Brianna Gallo, she's been a defensive back on the team. She's a captain and defensive back.
Yeah.
She's been on the team for, I think the last 15 years.
Wow.
So we did a feature story
Watch out,
on them.
Brady.
But the #1 documentary on ESPN right now is a documentary called Born to Play, which tells the story of the Boston Renegades.
Nice.
So we have exclusive interviews with team members on there. We have an exclusive interview with the documentarian. I hope I said that right, documentarian.
Documentarian, yeah.
It's and this is a phenomenal story. And I gotta, Brianna, like, I love that she did this. So once the documentary came out, CNN, ABC, like,
Yeah.
and everybody's like saying, like, contacting them, like People Magazine to do
Yeah.
stories.
Well, it's a great story.
She bumped BostonMan Magazine to the front of the line with their front office, so that our story it's not the first to get out, like others have come, but she made sure that we got all of our exclusive content.
That's
for this.
awesome.
So definitely looking forward to sharing that Boston Renegade story, and like if we can pull this summer event together.
Just a lot to look forward to.
Our members are going to be able to meet the team, meet the players of the Boston Renegades. They're going to be at the event as well.
Awesome, very exciting. Like I said, a lot to come with this magazine.
It really is, yes. So that's so it's I mean, the magazine's coming out the 11th regardless.
Yeah.
Like we're going to get it out to the city. We're going to get it out to everybody, and it's hopefully we have an event that does it justice.
Yes. Well, and also staying on the magazine and things that are coming up and new things. The charities, let's talk about, I know with the American Cancer Society,
Yeah.
right? And there's a few other organizations we're working with. Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean,
Awesome.
that's the main reason why we're here. So
Yeah.
it's, we've done a lot of work with the American Cancer Society, and the thing about like another tragedy of COVID is that it has now taken everybody's attention away from good stuff that's going on in the world and stuff that all these nonprofits and charities that need attention, they need awareness, they need funds, and everything's gone away from that and towards COVID, which just makes my stomach turn. So what little impact and power that we have with our resources here at BostonMan Magazine, like we're going to do our best to try to reverse that in any way we can. And one of our partners is the American Cancer Society. We do a lot of work with Teresa Freeman. And we have this beautiful new campaign. It's titled "We Need You More Now Than Ever," and it's for breast cancer awareness. And we'll show the ad here while we're talking about it. But it looks, we're going to release this in our summer magazine, which can't wait to do. And it's
very exciting.
And hopefully, whatever.
Another very impactful ad in Boston.
Yeah, and hopefully this can help. Hopefully this can help out the American Cancer Society in any way it can.
Definitely.
And then you also had what was it? The St. Rock. I always miss saying it. St. Rock Haiti.
St. Rock Haiti.
Gala,
We had a St. Rock Haiti gala a few months ago, actually, but we were really excited because we raised over $1 million to put in a women's maternity clinic. So they're going to get started on that, obviously, when it's safe. It's been hard to travel to Haiti anyway. There's been travel bans without COVID. So hopefully when things start to open up, that will be in the works, and we're really, really excited about it. So there's going to be more to come with that we can talk about later, but like I said, because of everything, it's just been hard to get on top of it, but we were really, really excited about that, just to get that clinic down there. Women, women are in labor every day, and here it's nothing, but down there, women and children are dying. So we were just really, really excited to get that started. So that's something big that, in the St. Rock Haiti Foundation that we're working on. So I'm excited, and we'll talk more about that once things start to open up and we kind of get the move on with that. So good things.
And then I'm actually surprised that we haven't done this yet, but another big
I am
campaign
too.
that we've
After hearing this, I am a little surprised too that this wasn't sooner, but better late than never, right?
So as we know, we've talked about the McCourty twins, we've talked about the Wonder twins, and of course I have my identical twin.
Yes, you do.
Back in Connecticut, the #1 grind man.
Yeah.
And the #1 grind man back in the day competed in the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
Which he always reminds me of.
Yep.
He's an Olympic athlete, and I'm not.
He is.
But so he said, when are you gonna do something with the Special Olympics? I'm like, buddy, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So we've reached out to the Massachusetts Special Olympics, and we're gonna make a big donation, a big ad campaign donation to them. It's gonna be a full page. And it's we're gonna start really digging in and doing a lot more stuff with the Massachusetts Special Olympics.
Yep.
I had a hour-long conversation with them just yesterday, actually, and it's they've still done some virtual stuff, so it's very important to keep all of their athletes in their community active.
Of course,
and they're doing everything they can. Our nonprofit coordinator, Ali Marcello, is going to be writing a story about them too, and we're gonna have a lot of fun stuff.
Now, have you told Grind-A-Man about this?
Told him. He's the one that told me that I have to go do this.
Yep.
So
he knows now.
So Grinda, we
thinking of you.
Yeah, we're thinking of you, but we're gonna put your money where your mouth is. You're gonna have to come out here and come out of retirement and compete against some of these Massachusetts Special Olympics athletes. So keep training. I know you've been doing your laps around the house.
I'll be cheering for you.
Keep training, Grinda. But yeah, anyways, I think that kind of brings us up to speed. But
end on a high note with all the good charities and foundations we're working with, and just more to come.
Well, we do have one more segment here.
One more?
Our
what am I forgetting?
DM question of the episode.
The DM. Do we have one?
So we do. So this isn't actually a DM. It's actually we'll call it a VM, a video message.
Okay.
But our good friend from the Celtics,
yes,
Bob Marley, sent in a video that he has a question specifically for you.
For me?
So let's take a look at it.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Andrea. This is Bob Marley, aka the Black Leprechaun from the Boston Celtics. I just want to congratulate you on your 4th year with the Patriots. Congratulations to the Patriots Nation. We never die. We just multiply, baby, just like the Celtics. And Andrea, I know there's a memorable moments with the Patriots, and there is so much memories that you have. But if I could ask you one question, I would ask, is there one moment that stands out being with the Patriots that you could remember? And if you could answer that question for me, I would appreciate it. Go Celtics, go Patriots. Nation, baby, here!
So I just have to say, that was the most Boston video I think I'd ever seen. You know, we have Bob Marley there with his Celtic getup, whole thing, with Sweet Caroline playing in the background as he's yelling over it. And I love how he said, like, the Patriots, we never die, we just multiply.
So I think he checked every box. So Sweet Caroline, the Red Sox song was playing. He was wearing his Celtics getup. He's talking about the Patriots.
Yeah.
And in the background, that was at the Greatest Bar, you could see some Bruins like memorabilia in the background there. So he literally checked every box during that question.
So funny. But back to his question. So he's asking about my most memorable moment with the Patriots. And I mean, there's so many. Within 4 years, I've been to 3 Super Bowls, and ended with Brady. And even through all of that, I think my most memorable moment was during my 2nd year, and we had a cheerleader alumni game. So I actually got to be on the field with my mother, who was a cheerleader, and my sister, who was a cheerleader. And it was just so crazy because it was like 3 generations just out there. And, my mom had like the women from her years, Erica had like her girls from her years. And it was just so, again, that was just the most memorable moment to me, because it was because of my mom, my grandfather, that we were even there. So all of us being on that field at that time.
Yeah.
And we'll show a picture from the field, actually. Dwight Darien, who has shot our covers in the past, took it, and that would be my favorite moment. So thank you for the question.
It's hard to beat that.
Hard to beat that, but anyways,
well, we're back.
We're back. We'll be back more.
Yeah,
this isn't going to be a 12-month, thing every 12 months.
Can we make that promise?
Yes.
So, hope you guys enjoyed the issue, Boston, and we're here for you, and lots of good stuff to come.
Mm-hmm.
We bend the rules. We step out of line. We take chances. It's just how we do things here. Boston is more than a city, and we share more than a zip code. It's a community, a camaraderie. We keep our heads down and do the work. Our heroes and icons embody this. But it's each one of us who sets the tone. We are the soul of the city. We grind, we build, we create, we fight. Each move is a reflection of our values. Because it's our values that make us who we are and make our city what it is. This is our home. This is our town. This is Boston.